Okay. So this is the Backcountry 101. We're with Ogden Avalanche. Ogden Avalanche is a local We're good to start, right? Okay. Sorry, I should have asked. Okay, Ogden Avalanche is a local nonprofit. Our goal is to teach affordable avalanche education to the Ogden area. So we're just trying to bridge that gap and create community. So we're super stoked you're all here, and it's going to be super fun. So quick, Atomic's one of our sponsors. Quick thank you to them. I want to get to know you all because we're going to hang out tomorrow, and it's going to be so much fun. So I'll start. My name's Libby LaPrey. I'm the lead instructor for Ogden Avalanche. I grew up in Huntsville. Currently live in Logan now with my husband. He's going to school at Utah State. But Ogden's where I'm from. Mode of backcountry travel, I'm a skier. Prior avalanche training, too much, we'll say that. No. I am taking my Pro 2 this season, which I'm really excited about. So that's something new and exciting. Hopes and dreams for this course. I just hope you guys all walk away with either a refresh of knowledge if this isn't your first avalanche course, or if it's your first one, feeling a little bit more confident that you'll be able to step out into the backcountry and be able to have a safe tour. So my favorite ski snack. This is my favorite question to ask because not only I think I have pretty good ski snacks, but then I get to learn all your guys' favorite ski snacks and I get ideas, but mine is a pickle. So don't knock it until you try it. It's like gets cold in your like in a Ziploc bag. Like no, definitely a Ziploc bag, not just like pickle juice everywhere. That's disgusting. But pickles are pretty good. So we'll just do a quick intro through everybody else. We'll start over here if that's okay.
I'm Erin. I'm from Vermont originally, but living in Ogden now. I'm skiing.
Nice.
No prior avalanche training. Hopes and dreams are just to get a little bit more comfy with the gear and the process. And favorite ski snack would be gummies.
Gummies are good. What kind of gummies?
Probably the Welch's, berries, and cherries.
Ooh, those are good. I did have someone say that this morning too. So, well, I've heard that twice now. Awesome. I'll have to try it. Heck yeah.
I'm Alexis. I'm from Arkansas originally. My mode of backcountry travel is ski. Prior avalanche training was I did the Area 1 and some cross training when I was in Washington State.
Nice.
Hopes and dreams is to get a good refresher. And then favorite ski snack is Sour Patch Kids.
Heck yeah, yeah. Nice.
Sour Patch Kids?
Sour Patch Kids are good. The watermelon ones? Oh, so good. Okay, we'll go back here.
I am Kat. I am living in Layton-ish. I originally grew up in Georgia. I'm a split boarder. And I'm not here so far. 0 prior avalanche training. Hopes and dreams just to get familiar and comfortable with recognizing, crappy areas, I guess. Favorite ski snack is also probably fruit snacks, but I'm partial to the Mott's.
Ooh, the Mott's are good too. Oh, we're gonna have a little fun. Just kidding.
And then I guess my other favorite ski snack would be those cookies called from Costco that we get. No, the hunks.
Oh, Heavenly Hunks. Yes, those are so good. I love those. Heck yeah. Those are good. Cool. We'll go over here next.
I'm Bryce. I am living in Layton as well. I'm from Arizona originally. This is my first season skiing. Unsurprisingly from Arizona. Wife was like a junior Olympian skier, so that's why I'm doing this.
What did she do?
Slalom, giant slalom.
Heck yeah! I raced for 12 years too. How fun!
So I'm trying not to die.
Awesome. Yeah. Glad. I'm so good.
It's kind of hopes and dreams is just get the basics down for going out, nothing crazy, and have a reason to carry a full backpack.
Heck yeah.
And I will be weird. I try and just gorge myself prior to going.
Okay.
So I don't have to carry snacks with me or pay.
Fast and light, I see. Okay.
Yeah. I also like fair weather, 4 or 5 hour kind of guy.
Heck yeah. Nice. Good deal. Oh, gushers are good. Like, yeah. Cool. We'll go over here.
Yeah, my name is Devin. Originally from Oregon, but I lived here in Ogden for 7 or 8 years now. Backcountry travel mode most often is going to be on skis. Occasionally, I'll like boot pack with like a snowboard or something like a house surf.
Oh, heck yeah. Nice.
Prior avalanche training. This will be my first like legit class. We've done some stuff on base actually. I think. a
Oh,
couple years
really?
ago.
Oh,
And
heck
got
yeah.
me, like hooked on the book. I forget what the Bible book is.
Yes, we're going to talk about it today. Heck yeah. Nice.
So yeah, I've done a lot of reading, I've done a lot of travel, but I've never had like an official class. So I was pretty excited when I saw this one pop up.
Nice.
Hopes and dreams, I think is probably more to be like more academic, but at the same time, like learn about some sweet areas that are local to the region.
Heck yeah.
Ski snack, I'm a fan of pocket tacos.
Oh,
Put a soft taco in your pocket.
that sounds lovely. Yeah. Yeah, wrap. No loose snacks here. No.
Taco, Taco Bell,
Yeah.
Doritos Locos, yeah, you can't go wrong.
That sounds good. Okay, you know what? Because I'm staying at my parents' house tonight. I was gonna swing by McDonald's. I might switch it up and go like taco time and do a taco tomorrow. That sounds delicious. McGriddles though, pocket McGriddles, those are pretty good too. Okay, go here.
My name's Nate. I'm originally from Ogden. Skier and snowmobile.
Heck yeah.
Prior avalanche training is just, I guess, YouTube.
YouTube's a powerful place. I will say, YouTube's great.
All the old timers. Hopes and dreams. I just found out about this talking to Devin today, and so I don't want to learn something.
Nice.
I'm just an old school PB.
Heck yeah. You know what's good? The Uncrustables. Sorry, this is a topic I'm very passionate about. You'll find out really soon. The Uncrustables, when the peanut butter gets like a little frozen, oh my gosh, those are good too. Okay. Side note, sorry guys. We'll go back here.
Jimmy, I live in North Carolina, but dragged my family out here for a couple months every winter.
Heck yeah.
4 years ago. Done a lot of backcountry travel, all on skis, no formal training, just trusting people in some cases I probably shouldn't have. And trying to get more scientific about it. Read a lot of books, read this thing a lot.
Heck yeah.
So yeah, favorite ski snack probably a Haribo gummy bear.
Those are good. And the sour ones too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Okay, we'll go back here.
I'm originally from Southern California. Mode of travel is footboard. That island is really none. Pretty much just like videos that I watched here. And hopes and dreams for this would be just get to know snow better and be comfortable. So, favorite ski snack? I don't know. PB&J kind of.
Heck yeah. Classic PB&J. You can't go wrong. They're great. Okay, cool.
Cool. Stu, also from Southern California, also getting football. Also no prior avalanche training, videos or whatever you tell me, I guess. And hopes and dreams, feel confident, like at least like I know what I don't know. Just like starting the learning journey, I suppose.
Awesome. Yeah.
And then favorite ski snack is also PB&J, but sometimes like cold pizza, like wrapped cold pizza.
Yep. That was my snack today. I ate it in the car. I was like, oh, so good. In Logan, there's a sourdough pizza place. Oh my gosh. It's called yeah. It's called Center Street Pizza. Oh my gosh. And it's on Center Street. Duh. I know. It's so good. Anyway, that was my lunch today. So cool. Well, I'm so stoked you all are here. You guys in the back, if you want to move forward, no pressure, but I will move my coats. I don't need a whole table to myself. But stoked you all are here. You guys are all in the right spot. Like I said, if it's a refresher, your first course, we're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to learn a lot, and it's going to be awesome. So, with that being said, the golden question. What is an avalanche? Does someone want to take a stab at it? No answers or wrong answers?
In a bunch of snow.
Heck yeah. Yeah. Totally. When a heavy slab releases from its the point that it was attached to and makes a big mess and possibly a bad day, right? So just we got the scary question out of the way. Now we can all keep going. No. Cool. So 2023 to 2024 season, we had about 15 fatalities in the United States, 2 of those being in Utah, which is unfortunate. But here in this industry, that's kind of how we learn is from mistakes, and we take it and try and be better from that. So I like to point that out. And we're going to go into the preseason checklist. So this is before the snow falls. We're all getting super stoked about skiing, start doing our snow dances. First things first, we're going to make a sacrifice to the snow gods. Or I've also heard that making a donation to Ogden Avalanche does the same thing. I don't know, but oh gosh. Okay. JK. But first thing you're going to do is you're going to read these 3 books, at least one. And the one that you're going to read is this one by Bruce Tremper. Bruce Tremper's awesome. He's a forecaster in Salt Lake. He's still skiing and doing great. But this book is like the Avalanche Bible. This is where you'll get all the keys to the castle. So Staying Alive in Avalanche Terrain. Avalanche Essentials is also good. That one's by Bruce Tremper as well. If you want, if you're super into snow science or want something that'll put you to sleep like that, Snow Sense is great as well. That one took me a really long time to get through, but it was good. But number 1, this is the book of the backcountry. So, rubbing on this, I can take this off. I feel like, let me like unzip. How's that? Okay, awesome. Cool. Thanks, guys. Okay. Cool. Yeah, so these are 3 books. Great reads. All that good stuff. Next, we're going to get our gear in order. So this is Corey Adams' gear. He's a guide at Powder Mountain. We're not going to be like Corey Adam. Love you, Corey Adam. But we're going to look like this picture. We're going to get our gear put together. So first things first, we're going to get out our beacon, and we're going to do a beacon check. So our beacons, very expensive things. You can all pull them out if we want to all look at them together. This also gives me a chance to see what everybody's got. So number 1 thing, we're going to put fresh batteries in every season. When it comes to batteries, there's alkaline versus lithium ion. I can never say it, so sorry if I say it wrong. But we want to make sure we're putting alkaline batteries into our beacon because lithium ion is like 100, 100, 100, 100, 0. Whereas alkaline is like a steady decrease, and it's more of an accurate representation of what your beacon's at percentage-wise. So alkaline. We're also going to make sure we take our batteries out over the summer or like a period of time where it's going to be longer than like 2 to 3 months. If you leave the batteries in, it'll corrode the battery box place, and these things are really expensive, and I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to have to buy one every 2 to 3 months because my batteries are corroding. So super important. Another trick that I like to do is when I do take the batteries out, I'll get a piece of red duct tape and write no batteries in all caps and stick it right on the front so I don't accidentally go out without batteries, and then it's like, oh crap, I gotta go home and all that good stuff. So one last thing with batteries. We have to buy name brand batteries because the batteries that aren't name brand, they actually make them like a little bit smaller, and then they get jostled around in there and your beacon will just turn off. So spend the extra, I don't know how much, get the name brand batteries. I don't know about you guys, but I think my life is pretty cool, and I'll spend the extra couple cents to get the name brand batteries. So just do it. Any questions on batteries? That's a good question. We'll find out. This is good. We're talking about it. So next, we're going to go into a function check. So we're going to make sure when we turn our beacon on, there's no error codes. So typically you'll have like an E in the front. That's with mine. But it's really important that you keep that hefty book you get with your beacon and keep it and read it and know this thing better than you know the back of your own hand. You want to know this thing basically like how well you know your phone. And then updates, a lot of them will have recalls. There have actually been a couple recalls recently. So just check with your manufacturer and make sure everything's a-okay. But Black Diamond's awesome on their recalls. I've had to do it a couple of times and they're great if anyone's got BD out there. Refresh your skills on how to use it, which you guys are doing this course, which is so awesome. And then if it's older than 5 years, check with the manufacturer. But if it's 5 years or older, it's time to replace it. I like to think about like how often do we replace our phones? I replace mine like 5 years. That's time to replace your beacon. It's a piece of technology. Again, our lives are pretty cool. Let's spend that little money so we can be skiing in the backcountry safely. So, any questions on beacons so far? Everyone's got one? Does anyone need to borrow one tomorrow? Raise your hand. Oh my gosh, amazing news. Cool beans. Next, we're going to go into the probe and shovel. So these aren't as interesting as the beacon because the beacon is actually like technology, but there are some things we need to make sure we're checking when it comes to our probe and shovel. So our probes, there's these little, like, I forgot to bring my probe in. Does someone, oh, I'll snag a probe. So this one will work. Yours doesn't have them. Dang it. Does anyone have a BD probe? That one? It's okay. I can just talk about it. So there's like these little plastic rings in like the inside parts of some probes. Oh, heck yeah. I'm going to steal yours. Thank you so much. Cool. So these little white rings, these will crack if water gets in them and they're not taken out to dry your probe. And then your probe will no longer be able to be deployed, which if you're finding that out in a certain situation, that's not going to be very good. So when it comes to probes, just make sure you're taking them out. So like tomorrow, we're going to be practicing with them a lot. Make sure you dry them out that night so you don't get any cracking in them. File down sharp spots. Shovel's a shovel. Just make sure you can put it together. No plastic shovels. We want to have like an actual avalanche shovel. And then when it comes to shovels, why does it keep doing that? Bigger the better, but obviously you don't want it so big that you can't actually move the snow, right? So kind of figure out what the biggest you can go for your strength is. But one thing, when someone told me this, I was like, oh my gosh, you're like a rocket scientist. I don't know why I didn't realize it, but this gear isn't for you, it's for your partners. So how like much you put, I guess it's just like a reflection of how much you care about the people you're skiing with is how your gear looks. So take care of it. Yeah. Any questions on the probe and shovel? Those are pretty straightforward. Probes, they say after about 90 yes.
On some of these, is there like recommendations for regions? Or is it
Oh, yes. Yeah, totally. So really fast before I lose my train of thought, which I did. Dang it. Okay, we're going to switch to your question. So it's kind of industry standard right now to have a probe that's 320 centimeters. Like I said, fast and light is cool and all, but if someone were to be buried in a terrain trap, which we'll get into later, that's like, say, a river, the snow's just going to pile on like a swimming pool, right? And I don't know about you guys, but I would feel absolutely terrible if my probe wasn't long enough to get somebody at that. So they're just kind of saying industry standard, it's just to buy the 320. Yes, we don't have a big snowpack here, but you never know what you're going to get into. And the 320 is just like 2 extra little poles, you know? So, but whatever you got is awesome right now. Don't feel like you need to, oh, shoot, I didn't get that one. I need to go, but yeah, you're good. That's just for next time. 320. There was one more thing I wanted to say.
The number 90. Does that ring a bell? You said you were talking about.
Oh, yes. Thank you so much. Okay. Yeah. Probes after about 90 deployments is when they say you should replace them. But I don't know about you guys, but I'm not counting how many times I'm deploying my probe. So, but that's just an average of how often you should replace it. Cool. Any other questions? Good question. Thank you for that. Cool. Yeah.
90 deployments?
Yeah.
How, maybe I'm like not clear in my brain.
Uh-huh.
We'll get to this, but like, how often do you actually like deploying?
Yeah.
the probe?
Well, hopefully you're practicing your rescue skills a lot. So hopefully a lot.
Got it.
But
Okay.
the average recreational user probably practices 3 times a year. So
Okay.
that just, but me as a professional, I pull mine out every day. So I go through a probe a season. But they should last you guys longer. So cool. Airbags. I'll spare you guys my super long lecture on airbags. Just kidding. But so there's two different types of airbags. Does everyone know what an airbag is? I can kind of explain it a little better if not. Feeling good. Okay. Two different types of airbags. There's the canister and there's the battery. The difference between them, canister's one pull and it's got like, you fill up the canister with, what is it? Air. CO2. Thank you so much. You fill that up, whereas the battery is chargeable and you have multiple pulls per battery charge. So when it comes to airbags, you want to check for recalls. Again, the battery, it's a piece of technology, so you want to check for those recalls often. The straps in the harness, so there's a strap that goes between your legs. You want to make sure that's still not fraying at all, because that's the one that when you do deploy it, it keeps on your body. It goes between your legs and hooks up. We call it the flash strap. Check tank pressure, check the battery, maintenance, and the best way to do all this is give it a pull. So there is a scuba shop here in Ogden that'll refill them. And then I also learned there's another shop, which I can get to you guys the name. It's in Logan. They do it for free. So
There's one next to Walmart on 20th.
Uh-huh. Okay.
It's like a motorcycle ATV shop. I'm trying to remember.
Nice.
Custom or something like that.
Yeah.
I'll see if I can find it. They've
Okay.
been good for me.
Awesome. Yeah.
They essentially do it for free. They'll replace if you're an air canister, they'll replace the O-rings.
Oh, heck yeah.
So maybe
Nice.
like a $2 charge.
Yeah, you should let me know what that's called. I have a battery, so I don't refill canisters, so that's something I'm not super knowledgeable about, but that'd be awesome if you could send those over. Send that place. Airbags do not make you Superman. You're not invincible. A lot of people think, oh, I have an airbag, I can go ski anywhere I want because it's going to work. Not the case. Airbags get popped all the time. Yes, it's another card stacked in our favor, but it's not 100% going to save you. The chances are high. They're higher than without having one, but you're not Superman. Cool beans? We're going to leave that there. I won't bore you guys with my long spiel. Okay. The essentials, just kind of going in to the rest of what you should carry. Your backpack, I think the sweet spot's 30 to 40 liters. Just with everything that I carry, I've found that anything smaller than that, I start to skimp on things that could be essential when it comes to a rescue. And we can talk about all that gear that I carry later. Your skins. Tomorrow, skins are not required. We're going to be doing inbounds, but if you'd like to pack them for practice, go for it. Avalanche safety gear, so our beacon shovel probe, those will be required tomorrow. Cool. Okay. Different layers. Not only will this help you, but in the event of a rescue, you may have to warm your patient up. So having those extra layers is really important to keep a patient warm, or you may not know how long you're going to be out there. So it could get super cold on you. First aid kit. This is something that I wish I had more knowledge about when I was starting, because I didn't carry a first aid kit until I got into the professional world, which now think about it, scares me. Luckily, everything was okay, but I was like, oh my gosh, goodness gracious. But first aid kit, base first aid kit, the 4 things you need to save somebody's life: a tourniquet, they're like $7. Ski straps do not work. There's been lots of studies recently where the volet straps, not a go. So just spend the $7, buy the real tourniquet. They're really nice too. You just tighten them and then your hands free, so they're pretty sick. Benadryl, which just allergy. Some sort of airway opener, especially in the event of a rescue. They're going to have snow in their airway, so it's really important that you have something. My personal preference is the NPA. It's the one that goes through the nose. You can find those, again, on Amazon. The reason why I like that one is just because the OPA can sometimes gag just because it goes through the mouth, whereas the NPA doesn't. And then you also have to carry one because you trim it to size. But OPAs work as well. You just have to carry multiple sizes. And then some sort of quick clot to stuff a wound to get it to stop bleeding. So if that's your first aid kit, you're already miles ahead of the game. But then you can kind of gear it towards something that works for you. You can leave stuff, add stuff, whatever.
Sorry, what was that last one?
Quick clot. It's like a bandage gauze. It's got coagulant in it. So you stuff it in the wound and it'll stop the bleeding. Yeah. Another thing, a repair kit. My repair kit came to be because of lots of accidents in the backcountry where I was like, oh, this wouldn't have happened if I had this. So some things to keep in a repair kit are like some sort of multi-tool, ski straps. Ski straps, like the volet straps, are the duct tape of the avalanche world. They're fantastic. I've used those in many different scenarios. Some things towards my gear, all the little packets you get when you get like new boots and stuff of the replacement, just throw that in your bag, keep it. You never know. You may never know when you're going to need it. Headlamp, lighter, some sort of fire starter. Dryer lint works fantastic. So next time you do the laundry, just grab that dryer lint, throw it in a Ziploc bag, not loose in your bag. We love Ziploc bags. Just kidding. And just hold on to that. Yeah, that's like a pretty good base. We'll kind of start. There are some companies out there that'll sell like repair kits, and I'll talk to. They're really cool. Food and water. Obviously, tomorrow you will need to have a lunch and lots of water. We're going to kind of be eating on the go. We're never going to have like a really sit down lunchtime. Just FYI. Headlamp, said that. Navigation. So maps, compass, phone is a big I don't carry maps. I just have my phone. Phones are great. So that can be your navigation. And then some sort of communication. Radios are great. And then you've also got your phone. So cool. So repair kit, we kind of talked about this. Ooh, batteries. That was something I left out. I carry lots of batteries just because batteries, headlamp, beacons, everything, So batteries is another good one. But Traverse equipment. If you have no idea where to start, they sell a ski repair kit and a split board repair kit that's got like everything you need. Sierra Bishop, also, she's another instructor for Ogden Avalanche. She has codes, so if that's something you're interested in, let me know. I can get some for you. But they're awesome. So Traverse equipment. It's a really cool brand. Cool. First aid kit. Again, this should be geared towards your level of knowledge when it comes to first aid things, but some great starts are My Medic. They sell some really good ones, and Adventure medical kits as well. Those are some good brands if you want a little start. Yeah. Cool. Feeling good. Throwing a lot at you guys. Yes, what's up?
Are these slides going to be sent out? Or
They will not, but I am working on like a little Google Doc that's got like cliff notes that I can send out to you guys.
It says, this is being recorded on YouTube.
That as well.
On your note at YouTube, it's all there.
Mm-hmm. You can watch me talk for hours. I know. Cool. Do we need to do a little break? Please say no. Okay, awesome. Just kidding. We can take breaks anytime you guys want, but I don't want to keep you guys here separately. And we're doing pretty good on time. Now we're going to go into the companion rescue. So everyone's feeling good about preseason checklist, gear we should carry, all that good stuff. Okay, awesome. So gear can find your body, but partners save your life. So having all this gear is fantastic, but if you don't know how to use it, that's a problem. But you guys are in the right place because we're going to learn how to use it, and it's going to be so awesome. So this just died on me. Batteries. Oh, they're in my car. Dang it. They come in handy, I promise. Oh, gosh. Pressed it too many times. Okay. This is a picture that should be ingrained in everybody's brains because it is in mine. The first time I saw it, I was like, oh my gosh. Okay, this is real. And I will throw this out there. Companion rescue is a topic I take seriously just because it's a serious topic. Done deal. If it is triggering to you guys, let me know. You can pull me aside after and I can change my wording, but I do like to say the real words because we're not digging for puppies and rainbows. We're digging for people we love. So throwing that out there. But so this graph, you can see after 10 minutes, our chances of recovery drop incredibly. So 10 minutes is kind of where we want to go. We've got a 95% chance rate of survival if you're within that 10-minute mark. And then 35 minutes, it drops to 37%. And you can just see it just plummets. So we're going to try and tomorrow, if it's your first rescue, we're not going to go for time. But that is something you want to work to is getting that within that 10-minute mark. So with that, the average burial depth is about 1.5 meters. Moving that 1.5 meters of snow, you're going to move about 1 to 1.5 tons of snow in weight. Think about a snowbank. that's what avalanche debris is. It sets up so quick and it's hard to dig through. So just with that 10 minutes in mind, what do you guys think is going to take the longest in a rescue? The shoveling, for sure. So it's really important that we get to know our gear and how to use it so we can save ourselves later on and give us the most time possible to shovel. So we'll do some shoveling drills tomorrow. I promise I won't make you puke. No promises. So just kidding. No, but we're going to practice shoveling a snowbank because when we actually do our rescue drill, it's going to be in a nice powdery field and it's not going to be an avalanche, right? But I do want you guys to have an idea of what digging in real avalanche debris feels like. So we're going to dig in snowbanks. It's going to be so much fun. To save time, we're just going to watch this quick video that Ari did on how to perform a rescue. And it does not, tomorrow, I don't expect you guys to be like total pros. We're learning this. So it is okay. Shoot, I should have done this earlier. Give me 2 seconds. I just gotta hook the sound up. Sorry, pause for a minute. Okay. All good. Some groovy music. I'm actually gonna skip forward for a minute. They beat me to it. This video is designed to help you practice and improve your avalanche rescue. Click the link to download the Ari Avalanche Rescue Card.
We're going to show you a bunch of tips and tricks to practice and improve your skills, but remember to take an avalanche rescue course regularly to keep them sharp and current.
The steps you take when one of your partners gets caught in an avalanche can dramatically improve your chance of a good outcome in a bad situation. Stop. Take a deep breath. Think about your own safety and how you can help. Look around at the scene. Yell and listen for your friend, and make a plan to keep yourself and other rescuers from getting caught in another avalanche. Make sure your plan includes an exit strategy. Identify hazardous terrain. Identify the area last seen. Identify where searchers are going to enter the debris. For example, if you witness the avalanche from below, enter the debris from the toe or the side of the path, and avoid exposure to similar slopes on either side of the avalanche. If you witness the avalanche from above, enter the path above the area last seen. Avoid triggering potentially unstable snow above the fracture line and on the sides of the avalanche path. Decide who is doing what task. Come up with a plan for what to do in case of another avalanche. Use the Ari Rescue Checklist to make sure you don't miss any steps.
Before we get started, I'd like to talk a little bit about the location we chose for avalanche rescue practice. We're not an avalanche terrain. We're not in any run-out zones. There's a big open space. We have deep enough snow for realistic digging practice. We've chosen a safe location to practice, but we still need to make sure that we're verbalizing each step as we go. So we're going to set up the scene. There's no further hazard. We know we have one person missing. Since I have my rescue partner to leave, I also have my phone. I can step out here and go try to reach 911, and then I'll come back. I'm going to start searching for a signal. My phone is off the other electronics.
Calling for help might be phone or a satellite. Take a second to organize your thoughts so you can tell them your location, nature of emergency, your name, the number in the group, and the number of people missing.
I'm going to start the search here at the last point seen. In general, for this practice zone, our search area is down below us.
The goal for the signal search phase is to find a signal from the buried transceiver and to look for any visual clues that indicate where the victim went. From the area last seen, pass back and forth across the slope, coming within 20 meters of the edges of the debris and 40 meters of your last search strip.
Liz, I got the signal.
Pick a distant object to focus on to keep your search line straight.
22, come on. Get your probe out. 26. 22.
Move quickly and steadily to keep your search pattern consistent, but not so fast that you could accidentally lose the pattern. Continue on your signal search pattern until you have a consistent signal. Communicate that you have a signal. Then slow your pace and keep the light or arrow in the center. Move forward to make the numbers on the display get smaller. Hold the transceiver flat and pivot it until you locate the direction of the strongest signal. Once oriented, follow it towards the burial site. Move slower and more precisely below 20 meters. Below 10 meters, look behind at where you came from. Double check your center arrow and record your trajectory with your skis or splitboard, pointing in the direction you are going.
1.7, 1.0.
By planning and knowing the distance from your transceiver, you can visualize where the victim is buried in front of you. Put your transceiver on the snow in front of you and locate the spot with the lowest number. Move along the line until the numbers get bigger. Then, keeping your orientation, come back to the lowest number. Maintaining your orientation, go side to side. Drop the probe to indicate the spot with a strong signal. Starting at the strongest signal, probe every foot in a systematic spiraling pattern. Since you know the lowest number from your find search, you can grab your probe just above that number and probe to that depth.
95, I'm gonna leave the probe in place and take one large step downhill, throw the debris in that direction. I'll start shoveling, Margaret, you grab your shovel and go.
Before you dig, visualize where the person is buried based on the probe strike. Plan the best place to dig and decide where to move snow. Step away from the probe about 1.5 times the burial depth and dig into the slope. There are several shoveling techniques out there. The most important things are to dig systematically, dig efficiently, and dig hard. Shoveling shoulder to shoulder helps to dig a wide hole closer to the probe. This approach works best in soft or shallow debris when you don't expect to dig for a long time. If the debris is dense or your probe strike suggests the burial of more than a few feet, shoveling in rolls between the digger and the sweeper.
Shoveling in
keeps one
line
person
is what that
digging
just
at
said.
full pace all the time. Swap positions to keep the digging pace high at the front of the trench. Once you find a clue indicating the buried victim's orientation, work together to broaden your trench in the appropriate direction.
Right, so you can see how long it took and how big of a hole we need to dig just to get to the step. So you can picture that to dig a big enough hole.
Cool. So again, we don't like this isn't expected for you guys to remember. I promise it'll all make sense once we are actually doing it. But are there any questions on it? Feeling good? Awesome, awesome. Okay.
What are you actually probing for?
The person. So that's what our lowest number, we wear our beacons in the harness. It'll bring you to that lowest number. So ideally you're getting a probe strike in this vicinity. But like me, I carry my beacon down here. So they might probe strike my leg first, but that's a risk. That's my risk tolerance and something I'm okay with. But yeah. So that's kind of how a search is going to go. We're going to do single searcher, single rest, or single burial, single searcher tomorrow. So we're just going to keep it super simple. But yeah, let me just see. Oops. Nope. Okay. And then one more thing I want to touch on is the interference of electronics in our beacons. So it's really important that we keep everything separate from our beacons because it will interfere with the flux lines the waves it's trying to transmit. So this is a study Black Diamond did 2 seasons ago, and they just did like anything they could think of and how much it affected the function of a beacon. It was really interesting. So you can see heated gloves at the highest setting with that hand was 90%. So, and then they go everything into like GPS watches. And anyone wear a GPS watch? Yeah. So with it on the hand you're searching with, it's 50%. With on the non-transceiver hand, it's 13%. So that's something really important tomorrow to make sure if you are going to wear your watch. Me personally, I just take mine off completely. If you are going to wear your watch, though, make sure it's on the opposite hand of what you're searching with. Smartphones, so we want to keep about 30 centimeters between it. So when I'm skiing, I keep my phone up here, my beacon's down here. 30 centimeters is about 3 pop cans. So like 1, 2, 3, I don't know, just a visual. Headlamps, high lumen headlamps was 30%. Two-way radio, 7. GoPro on the helmet mount, and this is everything with the beacon being here. GoPro on the helmet mount was 4. And then snowmobile at 0 was 89. So snowmobile, you have to get off your snowmobile in order to do a search. You can't do a search while on it because you'll get that interference. Any questions on that? So just keep the electronics away. Like I wear a smart ring, I have to move it to the other hand when I go skiing because this is the hand I search with. Does that make sense? So just little things like that to think about. And that's something I talk about with my group every morning at the trailhead whenever we're going to go out backcountry skiing. I say, okay, guys, where's everyone's electronics? Let's make sure they're all within a good distance from our beacon. So cool. Yeah.
With like your phone, like if you threw it in your backpack or something like that, is it just like straight distance?
Yep, just distance. So backpack's a good spot. I just like having mine on me because I use it for maps a lot. So I've found that this pocket works for having my beacon down here. People ask, yes, I could get buried like this, but again, that's my risk tolerance, and that's something for you guys to decide. But yeah, good question. Any others? Cool beans. So this all takes practice. I do this a lot. I teach this. I still practice at least once a week just to keep those skills on my brain and refreshed. So some common mistakes that happen is no leader taking charge. So in a group scenario, if somebody doesn't say, hey, I'm leading this and give direction, it can get really jumbled really fast. Inadequate initial visual search. So a lot of times people could be partially buried and people don't do that visual search in the beginning, and you could be wasting time when their ski boot could be sticking out or something. And you could just beeline it straight to them, right? Beacons not all turn to search. Why do we think that's really important as searchers?
Finding each other as you're wandering around.
Yeah, totally. You could be finding people who are on top of the snow when we want to be finding people who are under the snow, right? So it's really important that you're loud, especially, I don't know if some people are from Salt Lake, right? Skiing in the Salt Lake area, there's people all around. So when an avalanche does happen, you want to be as loud as possible and yell, everyone go into search. So if there is people close by, they know to go into search. And then they also know what's happening, so they could come help in the situation. But yeah. Yeah, the rest are just like not proficient with transceiver, digging prior to pinpointing with a probe. A lot of people get excited and will just start digging when they haven't actually found the spot. You want to make sure you're probing, and then poor struggling strategies. Not using your core is a big one. A lot of people will just use their arms and then they get tired really fast. You want to think of it like rowing a boat. So turning with your core, pushing the snow back. We're not doing any over the shoulder things because the people behind you are probably not going to like you. But yeah, cool. Any questions on rescue? Like I said, we'll do lots of practice tomorrow. So cool beans. We're going to go into the big portion of this one. Do we need a break? How's everyone feeling? Feel good? Okay, yeah, let's take a 5-minute break. We're cool with that. And we'll get started here in a little bit. Awesome. Yeah, so I keep my beacon in like a beacon specific pocket in my pants. So you can see it's got like a little sleeve. Yeah, yep, down here. And then my phone's like right here. So, yeah. Like a yeah.
I studied to be like, oh yeah, some guy was like, Oh, I got him.
I don't think so. I could look into that, but me personally, if I got stabbed in the eye but I was alive, I'd be pretty stoked, you know. But that is a good question. Someone actually did probe through my beacon screen, not my beacon screen, one of my berry beacons today. So it's like, I'm not gonna be mad at you because that was like a solid probe strike. You got it right on the beacon, but like anyway, so it's kind of funny. But yeah. No, and I mean, think about it. You're gonna have lots of layers on, so like, I'll let you guys probe me tomorrow. But so how this one works is you'll want to pull this and shake it, bam, and it'll click. Heck yeah!
I don't know if you're gonna make it.
Oh.
There'd be no argument.
So, told me to be in 20 centimeter.
Uh-huh.
Well, yeah, I wonder what this
20 feet. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. It happens. And like, yes, that was kind of unheard of. It was kind of a but that he was in a terrain trap. So it's something to think about. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I'd feel pretty awful if I was carrying a shorter probe, just thinking about myself. Like, I don't want to carry this weight, and then I wasn't able to save someone's life. So
I guess I just been wondering that degradation.
it's a little short, but but like I said, hold on to it until you need a new one. No rush, but it is something for sure to think about.
Less distance that the beacon things up, or
Yeah.
you know,
I think some brand like Arva doesn't sell a 320. Black Diamond sells a 320. Mammut sells a 320. I know Arva doesn't because my husband just bought a new probe and he was like, "Oh, they don't have a 320." I was like, "That's silly." Anyway, but you don't need to go huge, but that's just something I like to throw out there. Just thinking about it, I'd feel pretty terrible if, you know, like I said, the gear's for your partners, not for you in that situation. So cool. Is that the eye probe? Those are cool. The eye probes are really cool. I've only seen one of them being used, but it was pretty slick. So we can play with it tomorrow. The eye probe's got technology in it, so it'll actually start beeping at you like when you're getting closer to the beacon. Yeah, but when you're probing, you're just probing random. This will like start beeping at you when it's like, hey, you're getting closer. So it's like another beacons. I don't know. They're really cool. We can, if she's cool with it, we can all play with it tomorrow. So, okay. Cool. Feeling good? Not tired of my voice yet? Hopefully not, because you're going to hear all day tomorrow too. So, okay. Cool beans. So now we're going to go into types of avalanches and different avalanche problems. So, cool. So there's two types of avalanches. Well, there's 9 types of avalanches, but they all fall under two things. So we've got our slab avalanches and our point release avalanches. Slab avalanches, yes, are the big scaries. Those are like, don't mess with them because they create havoc. But point release, a lot of people call it slough and they think sloughing's fine. I've actually been caught in a slough avalanche up to my thighs before, backside of Brighton. So slough is real. Slough is bad. It's not just cool, like, because you see, you know. So there was actually a professional skier that got buried a while ago in a slough avalanche is what I call them. So it happens. So they're both scary, but slab avalanches are the big scaries. So some little avalanche anatomy. So we've got the crown of the avalanche. This is like a huge, insane, cool picture, but this is not typical. But that's the crown of the avalanche, is the top where it broke from. And then the sides are called the flanks. So I'll use that word tomorrow. So remember, sides of the avalanche are the flank. Then we've got the bed surface is what the avalanche ran on. So that weak layer that we'll talk about here in a little bit. It keeps wanting to just like go to sleep for a minute. What's going on? Oh, This is a bad one. There we go. Okay. A little bit more. So we talked about the crown, the flanks, the bed surface, and then the debris. That's typically where our friends are going to be if they went for a ride. Then we've got like the toe of the avalanche, and the track is where it ran. So, any questions on that? Really, the big ones is the crown and the flanks. And then the toes, pretty self-explanatory. But
How much of the,
Yeah.
so like, obviously, the blue part up there,
Mhm.
that snow is all now, the dangerous snow is gone for the most part.
So that's another thing it talked about in the video. You kind of have to decide if the scene is safe. You've got that crown. That stuff above it could easily go too. It's called hang fire. So that's one thing that you need to think about. I don't know about you guys, but if it were my husband buried, I probably wouldn't even think twice. But that is something that you need to decide if the scene is safe to actually enter.
In
So
the, yeah, I guess how do you
Mhm.
decide, like, in the track and the debris field?
Mhm.
Are you
Oh, where's the
at
best
risk-
place to
well, are you
enter?
at risk of another avalanche, or because the avalanche has already flowed over that, is that not?
So the only way you'd be in risk of another avalanche is if, or I guess I'm not, I don't, if this stuff broke up here and slid again. The track isn't going to slide again. It already slid. But this stuff around here, these huge crowns, those could come off, break away, and slide as well and create more. But the best way to enter an avalanche is, I don't know about you guys, but if it's like a 6-foot crown, I'm not going to be dropping a 6-foot crown, right? So best way is to come around and come in from another angle. So unless you're like really cool, I'm not. So just kidding. Any other?
A lot of recent rescues, it seems like they've had the teams go in for like a recovery more so, and they decide like, no,
Yeah.
it is too dangerous. Is that because there's new snowfall, or like is it because the helicopter's flying above? Or
Yeah. So like a good example, the May 9th accident that happened last season with the 3 skiers, 2 died over in Salt Lake. They actually weren't able to do a body recovery till the next day because of that problem. So they had other paths that they were worried about sliding. So they did some bomb mitigation and made sure those went before they could go. And then also there was some weather issues. So it could be a whole lot of things. But the other thing is just other avalanches around the area. So typically if an avalanche happens, like there's other avalanche terrain around it that could slide and yeah.
maybe if you're in a bowl,
Mhm.
and like just one sliver fell.
You've
at
got-
the bottom of the
yeah.
debris field. Okay, I'm trying.
Yeah, awesome. Good question. Any others? Doing good? Okay, cool beats. Okay, this is a really funny video and I like it. So the big takeaway is strong over weak snow. That's when we have a problem. When we've got that hard consolidated layer on top with a weak layer with lots of air in the bottom, the weak layer won't be able to support this new big layer and it'll collapse. And that's when we hear the whoomphing, if you've heard that term. That's when the air comes out and you actually like hear it. It will make it gross, hate it so much. But that's that air coming out, that collapsing, and then it slides. So this is what I like to think of strong over weak. It's a really funny video. So the guy's over there. He's about to knock this huge tower down. I don't know. But so it's like, I think of it like our skiers are going down. We have 1 skier, knock. 2 skier, knock. And then soon this heavy layer on top won't be able to support the weak layer on bottom. And you'll see what will happen. It's kind of long, but it'll get going here in a minute.
How many are missing on the other side?
Commentary is.
I know the commentary's pretty good because they're just like giggling and avalanche. Anyway, that's what my brain relates to avalanches to. So you're welcome. Just but cool. Makes sense. So strong over weak snow, that's when we've got a problem, right? An avalanche problem. Technology is not on my side today. A lot of things actually aren't on my side today, so that's lovely. Oh my goodness. Like totally froze. Oh, goodness. Okay. We're back. We're back. Okay. So when I say strong over weak, the types of crystals, or we're going to be dealing with the type of snowflakes we're going to be dealing with. Rounds are our hard snow. So that's like our snow we can make a snowball out of. Super wet, and the snow pieces are actually like little rounds. So we call them rounds. And then our weak stuff is the super pretty, you know, when you're like out skiing and the snow surface is super sparkly. That's called surface hoar, but it's really pokey and they don't like to bond very well together. So that's our weak layer. It creates lots of air in that layer. So if we get rounds over facets, red flags, sirens going off. It's really not good. So cool. Any questions on that? Yes. Yeah. So it can heal. So like you probably heard of the term persistent weak layer. Those are like the pokey grains on the bottom. And if enough water and stuff goes through, like think of the snowpack. When more snow gets on that PWL, it's like a down blanket. It insulates it and then therefore gives it time to heal. So it can get better. It does take a long time, but it is possible for them to turn around. So, and we'll kind of talk about what kind of changes our snowpack. So we've got our the avalanche triangle. So the three things that can kind of go into making an avalanche. We've got our snowpack, how it's doing, if it's that strong over week. Weather will then change that snowpack. And then we've also got terrain. Terrain's the biggest one. And then our cute little humans were the ones who create the avalanches and make a mess. So just kidding. So we're going to go into terrain first. So keys to the castle. If there's one thing you take away from this course, this is it. Avalanche terrain is 30 to 60. It says infrequent. I have a little beef with this picture, but it's not impossible. Yes, it's sloughing so often, but we talked about slough can totally bury a person, right? So 30 and up is our avalanche terrain. 25 degrees and lower, it is physically impossible for it to slide. So if you want to ski backcountry the rest of your life, ski 25 degrees and lower, and you're going to have a ball. 25 degrees and lower is fun. I have fun. So keys to the castle, that's how you survive. But I will say skiing avalanche terrain is fun. I don't know about you guys, but skiing steep stuff is pretty cool. So, but this picture over, yeah.
Is there like a way to like check when you're up?
Yeah, totally. And we'll talk about that. So there's lots of different mapping services that will show you the terrain angle. And then there's also other tools that we can use in the field to check those as well. But just goes to show, this was Sierra. She was guiding a day in Colorado. This is a picture she took. It was a high hazard day and they still had to take their clients out and make them happy, right? So they went and skied this slope over here. So many fun, happy turns, but it wasn't avalanche terrain. But an avalanche did happen over in this avalanche terrain because this was steep enough. So it is possible to still go out on those high hazard days. Not saying you should, but if you pick the right terrain, you can totally be fine. And this just goes to show. But you got to be really on it. So it's something that's an ongoing practice, is how to retrain and know what is avalanche terrain and what isn't. So cool. Any questions on that? Keys to the castle. I'm handing them to you right now. 25 and lower. The reason why we say 25 and lower is so we give ourselves a little bit of buffer. I'm not perfect. My eye clinometers aren't perfect. That's what I call them. So a little buffer is really good. So cool. Vegetation clues is another given sign that this path may avalanche frequently. So you can obviously see that's a dead giveaway. There's just like a ton of like perfect tracks for an avalanche to go. So that's a dead giveaway. And then there's other things like flagging and down trees. So if you see a lot of down trees that have gone through that area, you can obviously assume that an avalanche has gone through and taken out those trees. And then flagging, you can see that little picture over. When the trees have a bare side on the bottom, that means an avalanche went through and took all the little branches off the bottom of the tree. So yeah, so like this one, you can see a lot of regrowth through here. that's another given clue that avalanches have gone through there, taking down the trees, and now they're growing back. So, yeah. Convex rolls. So, that's another thing, another important reason why you should know the terrain you're skiing. Just because if you were skiing up here, didn't know this dip down, this now is avalanche terrain where up here wasn't. So it's really important to know where you're skiing, have a plan, and make sure you're in the right place at all times so this doesn't happen. So cool. Trees and shallow rocks. So this is a really big one. Near trees and shallow rocks, our snowpack is actually not as big, not as deep. I don't know why I couldn't think of that. Snowpack is not as deep in those areas. So therefore, we're closer to that persistent weak layer, and we can trigger a lot easier. So we call rocks and trees trigger points. About 150 centimeters is how much we need to of good snow to not be able to touch that PWL and not affect it. But if you get within the trees and the rocks, it's shorter. So then you could trigger it, and then it could pop the entire slope, right? Does that make sense? So a lot of people think, oh, it's treed. It's okay. It's well covered. It's all not the case. You're closer to that PWL, and it can still happen. So cool. Doing okay? Okay, awesome. Cool. Cornices, that's another problem. Just because when they break away, they'll then put weight on the snowpack and make that air come out and slide and blah, blah, blah. So another one. And then remote triggers are a thing. So you can see they had these happy little turns. So awesome. But they're putting stress on that snowpack, and that can put stress and have it propagate over to another area that is avalanche terrain, and then it will then slide. So you can see they didn't even ski anywhere near this stuff, but it went through the snowpack, traveled through, and slid where it could. So cool. Lots of terrain things. You guys are crushing it though. And then we talked about terrain traps. Terrain traps are really scary. So like rivers or little concavities in the terrain, it basically is just like a swimming pool, and the avalanche is going to run right into it and just pile on top. So again, 320 probes are cool. They're really useful. But yeah, that is something to think about. Okay, how are we on terrain? That's the end of our terrain talk. Feeling good? Any questions? Crushing. So the different types of avalanches, we get a wind slab. So that's where the wind has transported and deposited snow on an aspect and then made it super hard, and then it creates a slab and it slides. The next one is storm slab. That's when snow is falling. We have storm, creates a slab, storm slab. Cool. I know, really scientific. Just kidding. Dry loose. So that's when it's like, that's a slough avalanche. When it's loose, it's not a slab. So that's when we get new snow and it's just not really slabbing up and just sloughing off. Wet loose, same deal. It's a slough. When you see those little roller balls and that point release in the spring, that's a wet loose. Wet slab, that's when it's actually slabbing up and creating that heavy layer, and it'll then break off. Persistent slab is when we've got that PWL and a slab on top. Deep persistent, just deeper and scarier. We don't get that a lot here. Colorado does though, because they have a really deep snowpack, but something to think about. Yes, we are that 150, but I think of it as like the spooky snow dragon, because you're not gonna bother it, but when you do, it's gonna be a real bad day. So cornice fall, and then glide avalanches. There was a picture going around Instagram last winter. It was in Europe where it cracked all the way to the ground, and then the whole snowpack moved. So that's when water gets under, like on the ground, and then it makes a crack all the way to the ground, and the entire thing moves. They're really scary. We don't get them a lot here. It happens a lot in Europe. In my little homework email I'll send out tonight, I'll send that picture to you just so you can understand what it is, but we don't deal with that a lot here. Any questions on these? Cool beans. So red flags. These are when we see these, we should be like, okay, something went wrong in my morning meeting with my friends when we were making our plan. We need to rethink this and change our plan. So recent avalanches. You see an avalanche, it's a pretty dead giveaway that there's avalanche activity happening, and that should be a dead giveaway. Like, hey, let's change our plan or just go home. Cracking and collapsing. So cracking is when you see those shooting cracks through the snowpack. That shows you that something is propagating and is releasing. And then the collapsing is that audible whoomph you hear when the air leaves that snowpack and that heavy layer pushes and compresses the weak layer. Does that make sense? Cool. I can find a video of collapsing and whoomping if we need. Wind drifted snow. If heavy winds are coming in and picking up snow and transporting it onto other aspects, that's a huge red flag. Heavy snowfall or rain, again, just making that top layer super heavy and something that the bottom layer can't support. And then rapid rising temperatures. So we deal with that a lot in the spring. When you see those roller balls coming down, that's a red flag. So, any questions? Cool. We're like flying through this. You guys are going to get out at a good time. Cool. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah, so if it was like really dry and light, then we would be working with a dry loose avalanche. So this point release dry, it's not really sticking together. But if it's heavy snow and it's like super wet, lots of water in it, then it'll start to set up like a slab because it's that heavy stuff. Does that make sense? And it bonds together well because we've got the rounds. Cool. Doing good. Okay. We're going to go into mapping. So some different mapping softwares. Anyone use Onyx? It's kind of the new upcoming thing. Sorry, this is not wanting to work. I can't find my mouse either. Onyx is fantastic. I don't have a subscription, but if somebody does and would be willing to pass their phone around, that'd be awesome. But what I use is Caltopo. Or no, log in. Cool. Where are we? Okay. Here's the valley. Here's Powder Mountain. We're going to be skiing over here. And this is what Caltopo looks like. Is anybody a Fat Maps user when it was a thing? Very sad about that. I'm so sad. So this is the next best thing. They are, if you do pay for a subscription, they do 3D mapping. So it's a little bit like Fat Maps. If that's something you're used to. But in here, you can add like slope angle shading. So I just threw it on. Jerk, stop doing that. And now we can see where the avalanche terrain is, right? So what was Keesley Castle? What do we want to ski if it's a high danger day? 25 and lower. So our 25 is everything that doesn't have a color on it. So we've got lots of options, guys. Good stuff. And then everything orange is 30 to 31. And then the darker it gets from there is just steeper. So like avalanche terrain. Oh no. Dang it. Pause. I made a big oopsie. Okay, we're back. We're back. Avalanche terrain is going to be all this stuff. So this is the Canyon Road. Has anyone drove up to Powder Mountain? Oh my goodness gracious. So this is all powder country. And you can see avalanche terrain, right? They close it often for mitigation because it is avalanche terrain and they're trying to take care of it. This, let's see, where are we? So this is Timberline. This is the other side of Timberline going into like Paradise. Those are those cliffs areas. There's Kobe Peak. Let's see. James is back here, but there's lots on James. James Peak is right up here. You can see all this avalanche terrain. This is Lightning Ridge. This is all the chutes. Just kind of putting into perspective. So mapping is awesome. I have Caltopo on my phone all the time, and I pull it out a lot just to check what I'm on. There's also ways you can do it just from ice. So there's some chondrometer or something. There's an app. I'll remember what it's called. But you can like put your phone up and measure. Also, the measuring app in Apple users, it's got a slope angle measure too. So, but that's again, you're doing it from afar, so you may not be exact. So it's good to have a little bit of wiggle room when doing that. But yeah, any questions on mapping? Not going to go super in depth, but I can go in depth if that's something you guys are interested in.
Did you have a slide with all the possible sites? This one was like,
This one's CalTopo. Onyx is another good one. That one's really good for like recreational use. They'll actually import the avalanche forecast, which we'll talk about here in a minute, into the mapping. So it's really cool. Another thing that's good about Onyx is you can see other people's routes. So like if you're going to a new place and you don't know where the good backcountry skiing is, you can go and look at where other people have skied. You can do that with CalTopo as well. You just have to search up the area you're going and then CalTopo, and it'll pull up some maps that you can download. But I would say Onyx is just very user-friendly compared to CalTopo. But yeah, those are the two I'd suggest. Strava is great as well, if there's any Strava users out there. But yeah, just kind of finding what works best for you and learning how to use it is really important. So, cool. Open Snow does not have mapping. Is that on it? Awesome. Thank you so much. So yeah, Strava, Onyx, CalTopo, Gaia is another one. Gaia is a lot like CalTopo. But I threw it up there in case somebody does. And I'll let you guys pass around Onyx. Wow.
I think doesn't Utah have its own like set of backcountry maps now that you can download for free?
On Onyx?
Not Onyx. I think it's like its own like Utah backcountry app or something like that.
I haven't heard of that, but maybe. I don't know. I'll look into that. That'd be way cool. But yeah.
That one. Yeah.
Oh, what is it called?
If you're like into the cotton woods, then yeah, but they
Okay.
have it on like they have it on an app you can use.
Nice. Cool. Any last mapping questions? Cool. Beans. The avalanche forecast. This is, I already said I gave you the keys to the castle, but this is a second key to the castle. So the avalanche forecast is really important. So we've got Utah Avalanche Center. They're so awesome and we love them so much. But they put out a forecast for us every day so we know what the skiing looks like and where the good places to ski are. So you just go to utahavalanchecenter.org. I'll kind of show you how to navigate the website here in a little bit. But when you first pull it up and you go to your area, so this is the Ogden area, that's where we will be skiing tomorrow. So when I ask you to do some homework in the morning, we're going to be looking at the Ogden area. But then it gives you this rose, and we'll talk about the North American Public Avalanche Danger Rating Scale. Danger Scale. I always say rating, but there's no rating, but it's whatever. Anyway, and then you got the rose, so you've got the north, east, south, west, and it'll put a color with how those aspects are skiing. So this was March. We're considerable. West to east, all aspects. West to east, not all aspects. And then all elevations. So we use elevation bands. So it says below 7,000 is this lower elevation band. Then we've got 7 to 85 in this middle, and then above 85 on the top. So that's how you read that. And then it'll give you like an overall travel advice for the day. So this was back in 2019. The avalanche danger rises early today to considerable for wet avalanches on steep sun. Anyway, it doesn't matter. That was a really long time ago. So, but you get the gist. So the avalanche rose, we kind of talked about that. Any questions on how to read that? Cool. Awesome. We're cruising. Now we're going to talk about the North American Public Avalanche Danger Scale. So with this, it's really important that you do go read it, and I will gladly sit here and read it for you guys all if you want me to, but it'll take a little bit. But That's your homework tonight, is to read through this entirely. One thing that's really important to note, oh, don't look. Secret. No. Okay, well now you know. Is it's not a linear step, it's exponential. So like if we're at the Thai house, the Thai place, and we're ordering our spicy level, that's like a step up. This is not how this works. Think of it like crossing the road. So here at low, we're crossing 2 lanes of traffic. We're jaywalking in this scenario. Don't jaywalk, but in this scenario, we're going to act like we are. So 2 lanes of traffic, not that bad. We're going to jump up to moderate. Now we're doing 4. I don't know about you guys. I wouldn't cross 4 lanes of traffic just across the highway. That sounds scary to me. And then another going up to considerable, we're doing 8. So it's exponential and it goes up really fast. So that's one really important thing to think about. It's not just like green light means go. Don't look. Ugh. It like wants to stop here or something. Anyway, so yes, it's colors and they just act like it's a step. It's exponentially going up. What color do you guys think most fatalities happen in? I wonder why. That's so weird. Good job. You got it. Just kidding. Anyway, so most of our fatalities happen in considerable and moderate. And I feel like that's something that us as educators have kind of not, I don't know, that's something I never taught well. I was just always like, okay, go home and read this, blah, blah, blah. But we've had this study go out where a lot of people our fatalities are actually happening in that yellow and orange because a lot of people don't realize that it's exponential. It's not just step up on spicy level, right? You're getting really spicy after each level goes up. So something really important to think about. In my brain works with colors. Like I said, when I see yellow, I'm like, oh, not bad. Orange, okay, a little scary, but not bad. And then when I see black, I'm like, oh, okay, not going out, which is like, duh. But so it's really important to remember that just because it says it's considerable, it's like actually there's totally avalanche activity happening out in the backcountry. So what was that? What?
Only 1%.
Yeah. People get it when they see the black. They're like, oh, don't go out. But when people see the orange, they're like, no. Okay, I'm walking out. Just kidding. So burn this picture into your brain. Exponential, not just steps up. Cool. So some things you can find on the forecast are recent avalanches. That's something I really like to look at, especially if I'm going to a new area. I want to know what's kind of been happening in the backcountry. So you can go into recent avalanches. You can look at fatalities and just avalanches that have been happening. And you can see the size, the type, who submitted it, all the fun stuff, where it was at. One thing to know is not all forecast centers do it the same way. So we are the only people who like to use actual numbers for our elevation bands. Whereas like if you go to Colorado, they use below tree line, at tree line, and above tree line. So if you're planning on going to some fun ski trip, make sure you're looking at that forecast like a week before you even leave. So you can kind of first off know what's happening there, but also get used to how their forecast website works. So you can know how to read it once you're there. But yeah, they're all over. Like Europe's got one, Japan's got one. Look at them all the time. So cool. And that's the end of that. I am going to go over to the UAC today for today's forecast. The UAC also does have an app that's like really easy and handy. Like while we're waiting for this to load, you go to the UAC and it'll just show you. Well, it does kind of take a lot to load, so it hasn't loaded in today, but it typically is very handy, I promise. But it's just the UAC app. Cool. So when you go here, we're going to go into Ogden for today. This is what Ogden's looking like. It's very small. Sorry about that. But you can see we've got green, and then on the upper, we're yellow. So we are trending to the better. So that's a good sign. Snowpack is healing. Overall travel advice was avalanche danger is moderate on all upper elevations aspects where there are fresh soft slabs and wind drifted snow. So if you keep going, you can see the special announcement. you can see the weather and snow, which is my favorite part to look at because then I know how to pack my bag for the day, how many puppy coats I'm going to need to bring. And then you can see they'll update recent avalanches. So no recent avalanche reported the Ogden Mountains, but to our south in Salt Lake Mountains, this happened Thursday on Pioneer Ridge. If anyone's familiar with that, Big Cottonwood Canyon. So they'll put things in like that that are really important. And then from there, it's not wanting to scroll down. We'll go into our avalanche problems. Oh my goodness gracious. Okay, so our number one problem today was wind drifted snow. It'll show you where we're going to see that. So on our upper elevations above 85 or 80, 8,000. Oh my goodness, that was like the biggest rain part ever. And then from there, you'll see the likelihood. So we're in between likely and unlikely, and the size. So we're looking about a D2. So we use the D scale. It's D1 to D5. D1's like a bad day for a squirrel. D5's like a bad day for an entire Swiss village. And again, that's exponential. So we're looking at D2, which is a bad day for us. So something that could happen. Number 2, any questions so far? I'm kind of flying through this. Okay, good. Not good. If there are questions, awesome. Sorry. Persistent weak layer was our number 2 problem, and we're looking at those aspects and elevations for that. And likelihood has gone down to unlikely, which is awesome. So that means it's healing. And then same deal, size D2 on those. But yeah, so that's how you read the forecast. They update it every day around 7 o'clock. They're not always super on time, but that's okay because we just love them that they do this for us, right? So, but then from there, you can go see the other forecasts. So like if we click here, you can see it goes all the way from Logan to Moab. They do the entire Wasatch. This is really important. So you can submit an observation through here. All observations are awesome. You don't have to get some people get super scientific-y and it's awesome. But even if you just see an avalanche, it's awesome to just take a picture, post it. It helps because that's what we like in Logan. We've only got a forecaster team of, I don't even know, not a lot. And we can't all be in one place everywhere at all times, so we really rely on the community to help us get these forecasts out. So if you see an avalanche, just submit it. If you see something that you think is significant and would help, just submit it. You can look at all the observations. You can look at avalanches. You can look at fatality. You can look at the weather. And then they've got like their education. So they do a lot of classes as well. Their events are really fun. Their store, about, blog, all that good stuff. So cool. That's all the information I'm going to talk at you today. How are we feeling? That was a lot. Feeling good? Okay, let's talk about tomorrow. Any last little questions? Okay. Tomorrow, we're going to meet at Pow Mow. Let's see. Who has a Powder Mountain pass? Raise your hands. 1. What was your name again? Remind me. Jimmy. Jimmy, you have one too? Okay. Oh, wow. This is like so small. Okay, I'm just going to unplug this and we're going to walk up. So everybody who needs a pass needs to come up and get a code. And then you're going to go use this code to check out and like buy a pass, but it'll just be free. So you're going to buy a day comp pass is what it's called. You're going to put in the code you'll come get from me here in a minute. And you're going to put, yes, what's up?
You want to tell the people online how they get their code?
Yes, that was actually a really good idea. Thank you so much. What's going on? No, I'll come over here. I can email them.
Okay.
We'll chat in a minute. But so you're gonna go buy the day comp pass, use your code, and then you'll have to fill in like a picture and your name and your birthday and all that stuff, and then you'll be able to pick it up tomorrow where we're meeting. Cool. So when I say break, you'll come get your code. We're not done yet though. So we're gonna meet at Powder Mountain. I want to be meeting at the Timberline Lodge by the yurt by 9, ready to go. So Me, I'm going to get there at 8:15. Just so I can help everybody who needs help. But 8:30 is a good time. Carpool, carpool, carpool. It's supposed to snow tomorrow as well. This road is not friendly in the slightest. So make sure you have all-wheel drive. If you don't, find someone to carpool with who does. I do as well. I can take 2 people. We'll throw that out there for right now. But chat about that after. So I want everyone ready by 9 at the Timberline Lodge. That's where we're gonna meet. And then from there, it's gonna be kind of cold tomorrow. So bring lots of layers, bring your snacks, your water, all that good stuff. And we're gonna ski, and we're gonna do rescue. We're gonna dig a pit. We're gonna talk about terrain. It's gonna be so much fun. So I'm trying to think if there was anything else I need to tell you guys about tomorrow.
Do we have to put the codes in on the Paramount site tonight, or do we do that tomorrow?
You can do it tomorrow morning, whenever works.
Like, but online, not like there.
No, you're doing it online. Yes. Yeah, it's online. Yep. And if you have troubles, we can go up to the help desk and I can do it with you and we can get it there. But try and do it online beforehand and have it ready. Any questions? Yes.
It's helpful for those who don't go to Powder. They're a free carpool, free pool.
Yes.
Carpool for free.
Mhm.
Mark, but tomorrow's a Saturday. It's holiday weekend, so it's like $12 a car. Otherwise,
Yeah.
they do have a shuttle that goes from the bottom of the mountain, but that parking lot gets full pretty quick. It's like if you
Really
go to
fast.
Lee's Market. It's just north of Lee's Market. There's a pretty good like designated parking lot,
The Valley
That's
Market right up
full.
there.
which it often is on like a Saturday.
The workers typically fill it up
Fill it.
before anybody else
There's a
can.
road that's like perpendicular to that Lee's Market Road. You can park at the end of it, and they have a shuttle stop there and there.
hmm
It's not a lot of spots though, so I would
Yeah.
also agree to find a 3-person
Carpool.
Or just suck it up and get $12.
Yeah, that's why carpool, carpool, carpool. If you have 3 or more in your car, you get in for free. And it's really sick. So
When you get there, there'll be parking attendants.
Mhm.
If you have 3 in your car, then they'll just like take a picture and put in your stuff on their little phone app. So make sure
You'll
you
be good
connect
to
with
go.
them.
Yeah. Cool. Any questions about tomorrow? Logistics wise. Okay. Homework now. You guys didn't know you had homework. Just kidding. So tomorrow I want you guys to practice reading the forecast. Yes, we are going to be inbounds, but we're going to treat it like we're in the backcountry. So forecast goes out at 7 a.m. I have this little notebook. You can either write it down or in your notes, whatever works. I just like having it on paper, but this is kind of what mine looks like. Just write down what you think is important because we're going to chat about it in the morning. So just make sure you at least look at it. If you don't write it down, that's okay, but just please look at it. Also write it down if you can, but a little notebook works, or just even in the notes app on your phone. And then the way it's like really fun to like go through and look at the season and like all the forecast. I don't know. Maybe that's just a me thing, but I think it's fun. I'll send out an email to remind you. I'll also send out a couple things, avalanche accidents that I'll mention tomorrow, and just so you have an idea, look over those. Yeah. My phone number. If anything happens. Oh, that was terrible. And then if you text me, I just ask you text me your name, but then also tell me you're in the Backcountry 101 class, because I've got so many numbers from these that I don't even know who's who anymore. Love you guys so much, but just be like, hey, this is so-and-so in the Backcountry 101 class. I'll be like, okay, I'll respond to you. Just kidding. So, yeah. Beacon shovel probe. Does anybody need to borrow one? I'll talk to the online people here in a minute, but everyone's got their own stuff. I saw everyone's looked good. Again, we don't need skins tomorrow, but if you want to bring them, feel free. Yeah. Break. Just kidding. We are not. Nope. We're going to be inbounds tomorrow just with the 101. We find it easier and we're able to look at a lot more terrain if we use the lift. And I've found that it's more beneficial. So yeah, you don't need your split board. You can bring regular gear if that's what you want. So Yeah.
How long are we planning on being out there?
that's a good question. Sometimes it ends early, sometimes it's not. Plan on 4 o'clock. But if we end early, your passes are good all day. You can go take some victory laps if you'd like. But yeah, plan on 4. So just depends on how fast we get through and how much we want to do. So yeah, cool. Break. Cool. And then come get your pass codes. So remember your name.
Alexis.
Alexis.